Howdy folks, Eric here, back with another standard brew. This time, Merata, Neuron Hacker, aka Lady Octopus in paper. Legendary creature. Whenever you draw your first or second card each turn, put an Ingenuity counter on Merata. And you can tap her. You may cast an artifact spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to the number of Ingenuity counters on Merata without paying its mana cost. Now, she's quite fragile. In a format full of 2 mana for 1 red damage effects, firebending, lesson, etc., etc. She dies pretty quickly, but fortunately for us, the rest of our deck is not that vulnerable to that kind of effect. So let's see what we have going on here. Obviously, we're packed full of artifacts. That's kind of the whole point. Furthermore, we're packed full of artifacts at 2 mana that redraw. The common play pattern that I've been finding is quite powerful is play Merata on turn 1, cross your fingers that she survives, and then if she does, play a Cryogen Relic for 2 mana, put another Ingenuity counter, so she'll be at 2 Ingenuity counters, and then you can tap her at instant speed and put another 2 mana artifact in play that draws a card, and suddenly you are really, really far ahead. And if you do that on your opponent's turn, she'll go up to 3 Ingenuity counters, draw for your turn, and then she'll be at 4 on turn 3, allowing you to cast an Oil Deep Gear Hulk for free or a Phoenix Fleet Airship for free. Okay. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. This is all a little, she's got to survive for this all to work. Outside of that, we're playing a lot of removal interactive cards just to help support this plan of stick the Merata, survive, eventually land a Phoenix Fleet Airship and win that way. So what are we interacting with? We have 3 Duskrow's Reliquary. Works really nicely with Phoenix Fleet Airship. Works really nicely with our little baubles here that we need to sacrifice to accrue card advantage from. A couple Grim Baubles for early interaction. Works really nicely with Merata. Just flash in. It becomes a stab at that point, basically. Yeah, and if you didn't realize, you can flash in the artifacts essentially on your opponent's turn, allowing your sorcery speed artifact effects to become instant speed removal, which can be pretty relevant right now against Ouroboros and Konas. 1 Tarian's Journal to keep the sacrifice stuff going. Now, the really, really powerful thing that you can do with Merata is leave up counter magic, basically. So if you play her on turn 1, play a second land, hold up No More Lies, they either pass, right, and you get to continue to accrue Ingenuity counters and get really, really ahead on mana that way, or they, fall into your counter magic trap. So we're on 4 No More Lies, 4 3 steps ahead. 3 steps ahead, a little expensive, but has a lot of play, lets us discard our extra Maratas in the late game, and lets us create tokens of our powerful artifacts, our Gear Hulks at instant speed, or more Phoenix Fleet Airships, etc., etc. We're also on 4 Fanatical Offering. Now, in my testing, I found that at my original builds without the Fanatical Offerings lacked enough sacrifice outlets to really enable the Phoenix Fleet Airship, and it's just more card draw to help cycle through our deck, find our airships. Plays pretty nicely. Sacrifice is a thing now, and also makes a map that lets you sacrifice the map, etc., etc. We're on a tight 20 lands, one of them being also Midgar City of Mako. So 19, 20 lands. I'm finding that we're drawing so many cards that it may be even more correct to play less. We really only need to get to 2 mana. Really, we're just trying to play Merata on turn 1 every game, right? And then it kind of makes your opponent question, well, if Merata is so powerful, should I bring in Torch the Tower, my shock effects, my removal for small creatures? It's fine, and it does slow us down, but if they're not actively progressing their game plan, that also gives us time to set up. So it's kind of lose-lose. As if we get to turn 1 Merata, we either untap with it and go crazy, or they interact with it and they're not doing their proactive thing. So I found her to be pretty powerful. Let's check out the sideboard here. An extra bauble, 3 Soul Guide Lanterns, of course. 3 Spell Pierce, more interaction for decks that are trying to interact with us. 3 Get Lost, just extra solid instant speed removal. Couple negates, and 3 Day of Judgment. Now you might be wondering, why are we not playing the 3 mana artifact that makes constructs? I can't quite off the top of my head remember the name, but you know what I'm talking about. The one that every artifact deck plays. I think because it is one card that gets answered, and if you answer it when it comes into play, like you're kind of scrambling. I'm not playing like Repurposing Bay to be able to find those things for consistency. So I just find that Phoenix Fleet Airship is a bit more of a resilient game-ending plan, and it doesn't need a whole lot of additional support. You can see that we're not on a whole lot of like other 3 mana plus artifacts to trigger. I can't for the life of me remember, but you know what I'm talking about. So that's why we're on the Phoenix Fleet Airship plan today. Curious about the Oil Deep Gear Hulks. You don't see these in a whole lot, but I feel like this could be quite strong in the current meta, at least against the Izzet decks. Maybe not so much against the Ouroboros lists, but I like that it's a 4/4 Ward 1 lifelink, pretty relevant. We can get this down on turn 3 and hold up counter magic. Seems like a pretty solid game plan. Let's go ahead and jump into some ranked matches. I have been kind of all over the place this morning as far as my rank goes. I've really been in the tank trying to like figure this one out, because I feel like when it's powerful, it's really, really powerful. When the biggest problem I run into is like I'm going, and then somehow I just run out of gas. Like you just draw a ton of lands, and it, it just doesn't always work out exactly. 1 land, but we have the Merata. I think I'm just gonna keep it. Go, Lady Octopus. Cross our fingers that we draw another land, preferably a white source for our No More Lies. There's a Storm Chaser's talent. Hopefully we get to show off some power here. Okay, we'll just go ahead and pass. They may prey on my weakness here. Play a red source and kill my Merata. Yeah, fair enough. I got greedy. I just wanted so desperately for it to go. All right, we'll move on to the next one. Playing against Izzet Otters. Let's bring in some Spell Pierces. Bring in some Soul Guide Lanterns. Go down a couple Duskrose Reliquaries. Probably just go down all the Duskrose Reliquaries. It's decent if they're on Monument to Endurance, but I think it's just better to hold up like Spell Pierces for the most part. More versatile. I kind of like the Grim Baubles for Grandma. They're not that bad. Probably go down a couple Split Skin Doll. And maybe go down a couple 3 steps ahead. Just a little expensive. It works, guys. I promise. Had a pretty bad run with our deck yesterday. The Blue-White Cloud list. Another 1-lander. I don't think we can keep this one. It's okay. Gonna keep this. I like that it has lands. That's a big positive going for it. Had a pretty bad running with the deck yesterday, but I figured out toward the end that like maybe there's something to this Merata / Lady Octopus card, you know, as I was iterating on that list. And this is an idea that I came up with. I think I'm also really excited to explore Jeskai Merata. I think having access to like Torch the Tower for all of our dinky little artifacts and help us cycle through those. I'm not quite sure what the top end would be necessarily. Let's go ahead and play this on blue. Tapped. Yeah, just play it tapped. Just hold up the No More Lies here. And maybe you could argue it's better to 3 steps ahead here so that we can double spell next turn. That may have been a mistake. Do we counter Grand Grand? Nah. You can have Grand Grand. Let's go ahead and give up this relic here, just to cycle. Oh, actually, it makes way more sense to Fanatical Offering. They might counter this. Nope. See some lands. Grim Bauble for Grand Grand, nice. That lines up very, very nicely. Glad we held our counterspell. But yeah, we're really like kind of a control deck, kind of a tempo deck. Not really aggro at all, obviously. More leaning control than anything. Just trying to utilize Merata as like this turbo piece. This really like busted opener sort of piece. Let this resolve. They had a quench. I'm kind of surprised they didn't quench my Fanatical Offering. Storm Chaser's Talent. That's fine. Yeah, I think we'll normalize this one. See if they want to fight over it. Just get these cards out of our hand, really. We have another No More Lies. I guess we just pass here. We can hold up Fanatical Offering and No More Lies. Although I would like to hit a Soul Guide Lantern. Maybe I just Fanatical Offering now. Give up the map here. You'll notice too a lot of our artifacts have like innate self-sacrifice to help us trigger the airships. So we don't need a whole lot of extra going on. I know I said in the opener like needed Fanatical Offering. I think this just also helps us continue to dig, you know. Leveling up Artist Talent. Maybe leveling up Storm Chaser's Talent is not a bad idea here. I don't have anything I can do about it. Another Accumulate Wisdom. I'm going to go ahead, let them discard a card here. If they put another Lesson in their graveyard, I'll counter this. 2 lessons. Yeah, just let it resolve. Boomerang Basics. A little weird that they're going to go for this now. I guess we counter this for tempo. Keep them off of otters. Kind of feel like they should have thought about leveling up the talent at some point in there. A braid. Makes sense. Grand. Okay. Well. We could just fire this off to draw 2, discard 2, and kill Grand by copying the Grim Bauble. That's really not the worst. Help us clear out some of the garbage here. Grand's kind of a problem. Maybe we just counter the next thing they play. Go for a Fanatical Offering first. Sacrifice the map. It just goes on and on forever. Yeah, I don't like them untapping with Grand. Play a Starting Town. Just pass it to them. They're not doing a whole lot. We're not doing a whole lot. We're both just trying to find our pieces here. Gonna counter this before they get to discard. Feeling okay here, keeping them off of their big, powerful synergies. Their removal looks pretty bad right now. A land in hand and they play it. Level up the artist talent. Spell Pierce. Okay. I think we can take a second to cast Reactor Raid here. Although, maybe it's just better to go with Fanatical Offering again. So then if we hit our airship, we can play it and hold up Spell Pierce. Okay. I guess we just play a reactor and hold up, or a relic and hold up 2 Spell Pierces. That's pretty good. Well, there's the airship. We've been waiting for you, my friend. Play a tapped black source. I think we're pretty set up to win this one. I feel pretty good about this. So they can go Boomerang Basics on the talent. Fine. Not a whole lot I can do about that. I could double Spell Pierce here just to make them tap out. And then they have nowhere to go after that. No, I feel like that doesn't do a whole lot. Replay the Storm Chasers. Okay. Boomerang Basics. Now I think I double Spell Pierce. Keeps them off of several cards here. Draw a discard with Gran. Taking a lot of damage. Wouldn't mind a little more interaction. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7. I think I'm gonna I'm just gonna sacrifice the Cryogen Relic. Keep them off of Gran here. Draw a card. Maybe I hit a. Okay, Merata blocks at the very least right now. Play the airship. I'm going to tap out completely here. I don't think there's much of a reason to leave up with Spell Pierce. I guess I would have kept him off of this little move. Yeah, maybe that was the reason to leave up Spell Pierce. Should have left up that Spell Pierce. Oops. I had my eyes on the 2 life. I was concerned. Yeah, I'm just gonna block here. Not doing a whole lot. We already have 1,000,000 mana. Wouldn't mind a Gear Hulk. Recoup some life. Gonna go ahead and fire off this Reactor Raid. Trigger our airships. Draw some cards. I guess we go Relic. Tarian's Journal. Interesting. Let's Relic in Otter. Seems like the most likely way that they kill us next turn is by swinging with 2 souped up Otters. Yeah, just kind of, we're getting through a lot of cards. But, I'm gonna learn my lesson here. Hold up the Spell Pierce. I feel like if we survive this next turn, we could come through it, come out on the other side, win. Ral Crackling Wit for 2 mana. Okay. That can resolve, I suppose. Discard draw. They're digging for a monument. A 1 mana monument to endurance. Does a lot against us right now. Yes. I guess we make them pay for this. Probably doesn't matter a whole lot. But if they have like a counterspell in hand here right now, better to force them to use it. Take away future options, I suppose. I don't know. We're pretty dead to this monument. Very, very likely that they can just access one more card here pretty soon. Abrade my airship. So that was wrong, right? They should have abraded my airship. Oh, they have another one. Really strange. They should have just paid the 2 and then abraded the airship. Oh, I guess they get to attack with Grand, and I'm dead. Was that the whole match? I thought that was game 1. Okay. 0-1. We did some powerful stuff. I feel like, once again, maybe there's just a little too much air in the deck in trying to enable, like, the powerful, like, turn 2 synergies with Merata. We have just a lot of air. Got to mulligan this. No blue mana. I'm going to go ahead and keep this. A little awkward. Got to keep the starting town as a white source. Go ahead and get rid of a watery grave here. Lead on a tapped watery grave. Not the best hand. Okay. Presumably this is some kind of control list. There's Aang. Hold up No More Lies here. Let's just go bar for bar. Pass it back forever. Oil Deep Gear Hulk. Well, I don't think I'm just going to jam. Not quite yet. We're getting close to being able to jam, though. If we can cast this Gear Hulk with No More Lies mana up, that's pretty much ideal. What the heck? Nia Skysail Storyteller flips into a 4/4 Vigilance Haste. Whenever you play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile, put a 1/1 counter. Do I counter? I guess I counter this. Oh, they don't have a No More Lies. Good to know. Stock up. Well, I'm going to counter that too. See what they got going on. There's Merata. A little late, perhaps. Oh, Lord. I guess we take a Legend of Karuk. It's a lot of card advantage. Not a whole lot to be done there. Play our Merata. Maybe we can start to string together a lot of card draw here. Resolve to Gear Hulk, pretty good. Little 4/4 beater with lifelink. Okay. Swing in for 4. I think I'm just going to give up Merata to this. I guess I give it up to Fanatical Offering first, and then I can use Reactor Raid. Okay. Well, I suppose we hold up Counter Magic now. No, I'm not going to. I changed my mind. We'll go for this. Lets us hit our land drop here and then hold up a more powerful 3 steps ahead. So they have the No More Lies anyway. Would have been able to do that on their turn anyway. Do we live or die by the turn 1 Marata too much? Maybe we need to cut some air and play some more heavy hitters or value pieces. There's like the 3-mana Thopter vehicle that makes Thopters every time you draw for the second time each turn. That could be pretty good. Just a consistent source of advantage. And they can crew the Phoenix Fleet airships, which is kind of nice. We don't really have a great way to do that right now. Okay, play a Mephitic Drought. Mephitic Drought. Mephitic Draft? Drought? I never know. They're two different words, right? Yeah, I guess we go all in. I should have played Marata first. I'm learning, gang. I'm learning. I feel like part of me has given up hope a little bit. It's just like, oh, Essence Scatter. All right, whatever. It's just like, anytime you are this sort of, I would call us more of a dinky mid-range deck than anything. The heavy hitters, like once we're past turn 5, right? The heavy hitters from our opponent just are so much more efficient at closing out the game. I'm a little more reliant on getting under all of that, I think. Phoenix Fleet Airship, interesting. I suppose I go for it. Another No More Lies. Okay. Well, I can exile this Avatar Karuk, or maybe I wait for... Yeah, I guess I exile this one. Slow them down a little. Try to hit our land drops here. On my opponent's board, there are 2 wolves. Oh, they're drawing. Must be nice. We could still, if they don't have like main deck Ultimas, maybe there's a chance where we eventually land a Phoenix Fleet airship and they just have nothing. I'm just not sure that we have the best answers to like an actually resolved Shiko after double stock up. Like if they just jam Shiko here, it's pretty good, right? I kind of feel like they should just go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not quite enough to do it all with 3 steps ahead. I guess we play a Cryogen Relic. Shock, and then we can hold up 3 steps ahead with counter, draw, discard. They're almost at Jeskai Revelation mana. Yeah, they just have so much mana here. Well, I guess we gotta go for it. I can't let them resolve this. Make them have it. Okay. Sweet. Discard this extra land. They're attacking and likely passing here. What could they possibly have? Another counter spell is kind of sweet. Let's go ahead and cast this Oil Deep Gear Hulk. Pretty relevant body right now. Let's just see what they have. Maybe another Aang's Iceberg. Get lost. Make them pay the 1 here. I'm going to counter this, I think, because I think we just need the body. We are at 9. They have lands. Sweet. Did they draw a heavy hitter? Swinging in with stuff. This may mean they have like a lightning helix in hand. Oh, I can't block these. Oh. Interesting. Ultima. Interesting. Okay, and they get their Legend of Karuk back. Well, there's a Phoenix Fleet airship. Unlikely to be able to trigger it this turn, but at least we can get it on the field, which might give us a chance. Ensure that we just resolve it right now. We're set up for next turn here. Hold up the Grim Bauble in case, I guess, they start getting some spirits on the field. Kind of a... I've lasted a lot longer in this game than I think I expected I would. This Shiko probably wraps things up for them pretty nicely, though. I'm at a healthy 4, and they're stocking up. Okay. We'll see what we draw. Okay, well, we'll see what we draw off the Cryogen Relic. That ought to do it. Scoop it up. Go to game 2. Feeling hopeful. Feeling hopeful now that we have access to better interaction for what they're doing. I think we probably want the Soul Guide Lanterns. They cycle just fine. Help us keep their graveyard clear for Chico. Cut the Grim Baubles. I think we need at least a couple Dusk Rose Reliquaries. And maybe go down to 2 Soul Guide Lanterns. I think I like the Tarian's Journal here. Do the dolls do anything? Maybe. Maybe. I like all the interaction. Go down a couple Mephitic Draughts. One Dusk Rose Reliquary. Yeah, let's just cut all the Dusk Rose Reliquary. Cross our fingers that we get a really solid start here. We want Merata. We want No More Lies or Spell Pierce. I think we just have to mulligan for that while we have the play. Yeah, see, this is just not going to do it, right? It's just too slow. They just prey on us here, I think. This is a lot better. I'm going to keep this. No Merata, but I like that we have the early interaction. Tarian's Journal is pretty interesting. I kind of think we need to keep the Tarian's Journal to help us, like, through our Cryogen Relic draws. Maybe just put back the 3 steps ahead for now. Try it like that. I don't know. It's interesting. We can just go ahead and lead on the Gloom Lake Verge here. Inconspicuous. Let's jam the Tarian's Journal while we can, I think. Continue to hold up counter magic on later turns. They might just kill this right now, but maybe they won't. They're thinking about abrading it. I guess Abrade is quite good against our deck in general. Voice of Victory. Well, that will be a problem. That will be a problem. Play a tapped Godless Shrine. Voice of Victory, huh? Yeah, that's going to be a problem for a guy like me. Pretty tough. Pretty sure we cut like all of our removal. So I'm actually not sure that I can beat this card unless I start just doing my own proactive thing. Maybe a deck building error. Maybe a lack of foresight gonna get us here. Play some tapped lands. We'll stick it out another couple turns, but it seems pretty unlikely that I'll be able to beat this. I mean, at the very least, I guess I can use my counter magic to resolve my own things on my turn. Importantly. So hitting these lands here is not the worst, really. Like, I think right now the best draw we could get is like a Gear Hulk and hold up Spell Pierce. Am I a wizard? Am I a freaking wizard? What the hell? Gonna try to Spell Pierce this. They may also have interaction, but gotta give it our effort, or our best effort here. Oh, right. They just pay 2. No. Okay. Fair enough. Gotta think about Voice of Victory, I suppose. See, this is why I want to dip into red rather than black, I think, because there's a lot of actually like 3 toughness stuff that you have to be able to answer, and Torch the Tower is just so much better than Grimbauble in that regard. Grimbauble is very nice in that it synergizes with Merata, I suppose. Like, you can flash it in. But right now, 3 damage for 1 is just so much stronger. You know, kills Hired Claw at instant speed. All these factors, I think, make that a lot more appealing to me. But we'll try this version out, and then on a future video, I'm definitely going to dip into red, play like a Jeskai Merata. I think there's a little more potential power there. At the very least, access to Torch seems pretty important. I'm going to keep this. It's not a great hand, but it is lands and spells. Hired Claw, speak of the devil. Shock ourselves here. Play a Cryogen Relic. Okay. Ember Heart Challenger. Could use a couple baubles. A couple Grimbaubles would do me just fine. 3 steps ahead. I suppose we hold up Counter Magic. At the very least, we could Cryogen Relic an Ember Heart Challenger. Razorkin Needlehead. I think we have to counter this. Kills us pretty quickly with all of our redraw. No More Lies. Not bad. Go ahead and play a... I suppose we just tap down this Emberheart Challenger right now. Hold up No More Lies. Maybe just some like main deck board wipes would be better than Split Skin Doll. You know? I feel like that's how we keep consistently dying. Swinging in. Counter on the Lizard. Well, there's a Merata. Does she do anything? Kind of. Kind of opens up our mana here. We are just dying, which is a real problem. I guess we go for the Split Skin Doll. Hope we draw a white source here. Kind of get to have it all. No. Okay. Play a land. Pretty toast. Pretty toast. Just things not really lining up correctly. Shock. Yeah, I don't have any way to come back from this. Especially with the oh, well there's a Nova Hellkite. Okay. Bring in the Day of Judgments. Bring in the baubles. Take out a couple dolls. They do block, but they pretty much just block and die. Gotta rely on our Oil Deep Gear Hulks here. Maybe go down a Phoenix Fleet airship. Once we land one, we'll probably get it to stick. Go down Mephitic Draught. Go up a couple Get Lost. Go down a couple more Mephitic Draught. I don't really love Get Lost in this matchup, but sometimes you just gotta kill what they have, you know? I really hate giving Emberheart Challenger decks maps because it feels like they can just rebuild so quickly off of that. Well, there's a Gear Hulk. I'm going to keep it on the merit of the Gear Hulk. No Marata. No Marata means we have 4 Maratas to draw in our deck, which is bad. Like it's hard to argue, I think, that that card is particularly good on any turn other than turn 1. Lead on a tapped land here. Okay, well, we're lining up for a Gear Hulk. I don't think I'm going to fire off a Get Lost, so I'm just going to play a tapped Watery Grave. Try to preserve a little life. Yeah. Draw a card. There's an Airship as well. Interesting. I think we have to start using some of our Get Losts here. Revving up the Bastronaut. That's fine. Gonna get lost the Needlehead. They have delicious maps. Resolving a Gear Hulk here is going to be quite nice. They might have a hard time dealing with it. Go ahead and see what they have going on. Lightning Strike, Burst Lightning. Yeah, they can have all of this. I guess I could just get rid of the Lightning Strike. Make them draw into Burst Lightning. Kind of leaves them at the same spot. The rest of the... Because I have an answer for the Bastronaut. Maybe I just leave it like this. I have an answer for the Bastronaut, you know. I think the worst thing I could see them draw is like a second creature. But if I get to kill this... They're hurting me for quite a lot, but... The lifelink on our... Oh, Grim Bauble? Even better, dude. Wow. Really great Grim Bauble there. That lets us hold up a Get Lost for like an Emberheart Challenger or a Dragon. Kind of a tough spot for them here. Ward 1, going to keep them off of a full Burst Lightning. Just going to draw. Swing at him. I thought about going for the Fanatical Offering there, but I think I want to save it for a turn where I can Airship 2, play the Marata. Them being in a position where they like need to draw a 6th land is kind of nice for us. So yeah, now they can kill my Gear Hulk, which is not really actively getting them back in the game. I'm just going to respond to this by Fanatical Offering the Gear Hulk so we can use that map to trigger our Airship, now that we have the Marata. Draw a couple cards. So this also puts 2 Ingenuity counters on Marata here. There's a No More Lies, and this is pretty much the lock here. So we can play a Cryogen Relic, draw a card, put another counter on Marata, put a free Airship into play, crack a map, and that's the game. Sweet. Looked good. Looked very good. I liked the Get Losts. Let's bring in another one. Take out a couple 3 steps ahead is actually probably a little clunky here, especially on the draw. Maybe we go into Spell Pierce. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Let's just go like 2 Spell Pierce. And a doll? A doll really just does not do anything here. Another Mephitic draw. Right like that. I'm hopeful. We're 0-2 overall, but I feel like we could definitely... This could definitely be like a solid 3-2 deck, I feel, in my heart of hearts. Or a 2-3. Could go either way. I like the Oil Deep Gear Hulk. I like the interaction. Looking pretty good. Burnout Bastronaut. Play a tapped Watery Grave here. Magebane Lizard. Not supremely good against us. Just fine. We're not really comboing off. Go on starting town here. Just gonna counter yeah, I think I'm just gonna counter a lizard here. Pretty annoying in the long term. Just gotta make use of the cards in our hand. Play a tapped passage. We have to do this either on blue or black to guarantee a Gear Hulk. Really doesn't super matter. The rest of our hand, probably just blue for more access to like double counter spells. Play this tapped, save a little life. I might just have to get Lost the Bastronaut right now. We'll see what they play here. Burst Lightning, turning on their speed. Okay. Leveling up the Bastronaut. Well, I'll let them attack and then get Lost the Bastronaut here. Taking a little damage from our lands. Little damage from the lizard. Not doing too bad here, though. Stuck on land. We have a Get Lost for the lizard. And we can hold up a Spell Pierce. We'll just go for this now. So they don't get to see the top here. Taking some damage. Nova Hellkite. Ayy. Not great. Yeah, just missing our final land drop here to be able to resolve the Gear Hulk is pretty tough. I guess I have to just pass. Play this on like black. Hold up Spell Pierce. Hope they don't draw a land to Soulstone Sanctuary. Hold up Spell Pierce and no more lies. Play it on black here, I guess. Took a lot of damage from my starting town this game. Gonna go for the no more lies here. I think they're gonna not pay for it and then try to like Searing Spear me or something. Okay. It's not Searing Spear, Lightning Strike. Yeah, I'm just dead to this. I'm simply too low. Damn. There's something here. There's something here. Or maybe not. Maybe there's just nothing here. Maybe Merata just can't like exist in this standard. That's just too fast. Like we're trying to be fast too, but we only have really one axis on which we can be fast, and that's resolve Merata and go off from there. The rest of our deck just does not. It's just very clunky, you know? We don't have any real way to like abuse the fact that we are playing an artifact every turn. It's just clunky. Like the other artifact decks get away with it because their top end is really crazy high and they just play all these interactive artifacts, whereas ours are a lot more dinky, I suppose. I'm gonna try a new strategy. On the play, I'm just gonna mulligan for Merata. There it is. And we'll see if this is enough. Dump a multiversal passage here. We'll see if this is enough. See if she sticks and helps us go off like the deck is kind of designed to do. Well, she's not sticking. That's not the worst result, though. We'll just replay her. Yeah, I'm kind of totally fine with that. What do you got to say, Mike? I feel like I played against Mike yesterday. I can do this all day, brother. Gearhulk's a good draw here. At least it gives us, like, if they're just going to dirtle around and mess with my Merata, it gives us a pretty reasonable top end after all of that. Kills the Merata. They scared. They real scared. Well, play a Cryogen Relic. Split Skin Doll also looks like pretty bad outside of having Merata on the field. I'm still not really sure. I think there's a build for her, but I'm not really sure what exactly that looks like. I've been trying like a blue-white speed variant. They could have Quench here. I'm not going to play into the Quench. I'm just going to play my Merata. Pass. Abandon attachments. Not a whole lot of these decks play Quench, but enough. Enough do. Accumulate Wisdom. Disgusting. Disgusting and unfair. It's simply too many cards. Kills my Merata. Taps out in the process. Lets me resolve this Gearhulk here. Kinda nice. Just gonna crack this Relic while I can. Do something with my mana. There's an Airship as well. That's pretty nice. Let's go for the Gearhulk first. Maybe we can set up an Airship guaranteed. See what they have going on. Yeah, I'm just going to get rid of the other Accumulate Wisdom because it's so freaking nasty. Why can't any of my archetypes have access to Ancestral Recall, huh? Although sometimes Bright Glass Gearhulk feels like 4 mana, right? It feels kind of busted like that sometimes, but we know what they're working with here. We pretty much know their whole deck list as well. Let's go ahead. I'm just gonna go for the Airship now. And then next turn I can trigger it. There's my grandmother. Doing some stuff. They have access to a lot of mana here. Might just decide to set up for next turn. Level up the talent and grab Ancestral Recall. It ain't right. Fire off Split Skin Doll. Discard second Split Skin Doll. We don't need you anymore. Might as well crew up the Airship. Sacrifice Split Skin Doll here. Go swinging. So now we can consistently trigger it. I'd like to see another land to be able to hold up interaction. But if they manage to hit a monument... Oh my god. If they manage to hit a monument, yeah, things are going to be pretty tough here, I think. They probably even have a second one at this point, halfway through their deck. My opponent has cast several Ancestral Recalls this game. There's another monument. Yeah, let's just pack it up, huh? Alright. Sometimes I wonder what it would be like if I played meta. Would I enjoy it? I'm not quite sure that I would. Go down on the 3 steps ahead here. I think they're just a little slow. Cut the doll. Gonna run the Merata again. I think we live or die by the Merata. Probably go down. And we can cut an offering here, I think. Try it like this. Ideally, 2 lands, Marata, Spell Pierce, and then some action. I think this is fine. No Marata, no Spell Pierce, but we have an answer for the grandmother and an answer for their graveyard. Pretty much all you need. No more lies. I'm gonna play this tapped here. Devour grandmother. Artistes Talente. Go for the Mephitic Draught. Let's go for the Soul Guide Lantern. Make sure we just get it on the field. We have trinkets. We have baubles. We have various artifacts. There's a monument. Could be tough. Still have a couple Dusk Rose Reliquaries left in the deck. Starting town. A little awkward. Get the relic on the field here. Another starting town. Artistes Talente. Draw, discard. Discard, draw, rather. And then draw. And then discard, and then draw. Discard, draw, discard. How about can I offer you discard, draw? Let's just print Orcish Bowmasters into standard. Come on, give it to us. Give us the Bowmaster. Decides not to shock themselves. I can't really realistically Oil Deep Gearhulk them favorably here because it'll trigger their monument, and my hand could use a little bit of a tune-up anyway. Discard this starting town. Play this passage on white so we don't have to hurt ourselves every time we want white mana. Gearhulk could be good if it survives. They have so much access to card selection right now. Really, ideally, they just have all lands in their hand and they draw nothing but lands for the next 5 turns. Would be pretty good. It's tricky, gang. It's really tricky. This is just kind of the bar you have to pass, like, when you're brewing, is like, can your deck compete with a deck that is able to cast Ancestral Recall on turn 3 and just dig through, like, their whole deck in 5 turns? So, think about that when you're brewing. Can you beat Ancestral Recall? Not a whole lot of decks can, turns out. Not a whole lot of decks can. Levels up the artist talent. Moving into combat. Passes. My turn. My upkeep. They're letting me access my No More Lies here. Accumulate Wisdom. They're drawing and discarding. They're drawing and discarding. I think I'm going to No More Lies this rather than exile their graveyard. Because if I exile their graveyard now, I won't have access to that effect. When they go to activate Storm Chaser's talent. I think this is a little better. I have to swing. I'm at 7. They get to double block, which is pretty annoying. But I need the life. Play a tapped Godless Shrine for sure. Pass. See what they do, I suppose. I'm pretty toast. Yeah. We can move it along. We can move it along. It's a sad day out on the track. Sad day out on the track for Ricky Bobby. But we're doing it. See if we can get the golden 0-5. See? This was the plan all along. Now, by comparison, the 3-2 with Jeskai Merata is going to look a lot like, oh, whoa, we're onto something here, you know? Esper, get that out of the way. Not the answer. Turns out it was Jeskai all along. And after this match, I'll talk about why I think Jeskai could be an option, at least a little bit. Here's my only thing. I feel like it's really easy, actually, if Merata resolves and sticks on turn 1 to get her to like 6, 7, 8 counters. But there's not really a good payoff for that as far as like big game-winning artifacts go, you know? So it's a little tricky. Like if there was just like a big 6-mana bomber that drew my whole deck, you know, and I just put me in an like unlosable position, I think that'd be pretty interesting. I've tried her with Gear Hulk. That was one of my most desperate moments. I had her in a Gear Hulk deck, and it was kind of sweet. Bright Glass Gear Hulk, that is. Okay, this is it. It's gonna look so good right now. This is the perfect hand. It's gonna look crazy. You're gonna go like, wow, because we can get like a turn 3 Phoenix Fleet airship goldfishing here. Turns out they have an otter. Means they probably have an answer for Merata here. Yeah. Okay, well, they messed up. Well, they chose the wrong mode. And at least I get to show off like what would have been really cool if they did. Because they messed up, I get to show it off, but it feels like maybe a bit disingenuous to say that this is a true demonstration of the deck's power. All you need to do is have your opponent completely fumble the ball on turn 2 for this deck to look very strong. It would be so crazy if I lost after all of this, too. We can just put Merata to bed. Get some draws here. Go up to 4 counters now. Oh, they don't even let me do it. I was going to do it all. It was going to be awesome. There's almost part of me, too, where it's like, okay, maybe you just cut all the Maratas. Maybe you just cut all of the little dinky creatures now, and now their shocks and stuff look really silly. That's probably like the actual real way to play this strategy, to be honest with you. It's like, okay, Merata looked very strong. Now cut it all. Now their shocks are meaningless, really, right? Like, what are they even hitting? Nothing. So that's the real way to play this, and then you just play like a control deck, but I'm going to leave in a couple Merata. Because if they go crazy, they go crazy. Just kidding. Let's try to win one for real. Got the Maratas, get some Soul Guide Lanterns in, put a couple Day of Judgments in. Try it like this, I think. Just go basically full control. This is sort of the transformative option. You've shown off the power of Merata, right? Your opponent's like, I got to keep in some interaction for Merata. And then you're like, get stuck in your hand, I suppose. Got a freebie. Up a game. The faded 1 and 4 on the horizon. Sometimes you just have to test a deck to know if it like works or not. I think on paper the goldfish is very strong, right? But you just can't rely on your opponent not dealing with your turn 1 play. And especially the best deck in the format right now being a deck that plays like 4 shocks, and I'm saying shocks, but it's more like Fiery Impulse or Torch, 4 of that effect. Makes it pretty tough. Okay, took a second for our opponent to figure out what they're up to there. This is a great hand. I like that we have the Soul Guide Lantern, we have Grimbauble for an early Otter or Grandma. Good interaction. Should be pretty solid here. No Merata. She's in our sideboard, so she's safe. No one can hurt her from there. My opponent might just be disconnected. Nope, they're here. They are here. Let's go ahead and eat this otter. Just so we don't have to worry about it any longer. Keep our health total, our life total nice and high. Okay. Boomerang basics. Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Spell Pierce is nice. Spell Pierce lets us probably just do this while they're tapped out. Soul Guide Lantern plays really nicely in this deck. It's an extra draw for Merata if we just cycle it. Yeah, I'm just going to Spell Pierce this. I don't want to give you this selection. And it helps us trigger our airships, which is pretty sweet. Hopefully they just have a hand of like shocks and stuff right now. Play a starting town. Pass it to ya. Hold up our No More Lies. Gran. Gran resolves. Artist talent. No thank you. Might just jam the airship here if I draw a land. Spell Pierce is pretty nice. It lets me fire off this Fanatical Offering here pretty safely. Try to hit another land drop. I like the Dusk Rose Reliquary. If we draw a 5th land, we could probably start going off next turn. Ooh. They're eyeing leveling up the Storm Chaser's talent here. That's a pretty rough spot to be. Let them choose a target here. I'm just going to exile it. If they're that down bad, I'm going to let them stay down bad here. Am I using that phrase correctly? I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure. Try to draw a land. Got a pass here. Yeah, maybe we're just supposed to exile Grandma. Hold up the Spell Pierce. I think I like the No More Lies here. It's a little better into something like Monument. One other card I was considering, there's that like 7 mana affinity for artifacts spell. In Azorius, draw 3, gain 3 life. The gain 3 life could really be quite relevant in this kind of matchup too, Although if you look at our board, oftentimes we just don't have enough artifacts on the field. for it really to make sense. Playing Jeskai also gives us Pinnacle Emissary. Is that what it's called? The 3-mana like modern affinity card. Gonna let this resolve here. Land. Two lessons in the graveyard. Maybe I should have just let them have the abandoned attachments. All those turns ago. Opponent really in the tank. Just like my rank. Really in the tank. Okay. Everyone loves a comeback story. What's the point of testing out new ideas in unranked? You know, you want your off meta build to be viable still, right? And the only way you really get a sense of that is by running it through like the gauntlet of really finely tuned meta decks over and over, you know? It can suck sometimes, but maybe at the end of the day all you learn is that the strategy really just isn't viable and you just move on. Not a big deal. Hitting me. I'm going to keep Grain tapped here. Actually, I'm going to keep the Otter tapped because I think I just have to deal with Gran. That's a pretty good draw. So let's go ahead and shock. We're going to go for Duskrow's Reliquary on Gran here. Keep them off of the extra mana, extra card filtering. Trigger our airship, and then we get to likely untap next turn. I don't think they can like kill us in this position. Field's down. Accumulate wisdom. Okay. Artistes Talente. Do they have the monument? Holding up interaction. Not leveling up their talent here. We don't have a way to sacrifice another artifact, unfortunately. Suppose we just have to play the Mephitic Draught. Take a damage, not the best. Day of Judgment's interesting. Let's go ahead and play this passage on... I guess we... play this on... blue, I suppose. Pass it to him. Hold up No More Lies. Hold up Spell Pierce. Hope we draw like... Okay, level up the talent. Hope we draw... Fanatical Offering. Or another Duskrow's Reliquary. Get these airships online. I bet they just have like interaction in their hand, like burn spells. You know, and they don't have any targets for them. Okay. I think I just have to Day of Judgment this Otter. I'm pretty sure that's correct here. They could target their own Otter with a firebending lesson, right? Yeah. They could if they wanted to. Cycle some of their other garbage away. I hope this isn't too tough to watch. A grown man devolving into madness. Approaching the possibility of an 0-5 run on the ladder. Levels up their Storm Chaser's talent. Cryogen Relic. Not a bad draw. Gives us 2 draws. Triggers our airships. Yeah, just gonna go for it here. I love that we drew a 3 steps ahead though. Gives us a lot to do with our mana. We can play a Gloomlink Verge, hold up 3 steps ahead, and Spell Pierce. Okay, gang. Just need one more sacrifice. And we're pretty likely to close it out from there. We're at 4, but having a million counterspells in our hand should be enough. Just gonna play a land and pass here. Hold up all the counter magic in the world. Surprised they didn't go for a draw discard. Seems a little forgetful. A little loosey-goosey on their part. I highlighted their land so they realized they were missing out on the Agna-Kala. Monument to Endurance. Gotta counter this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can go for just counter and draw 2, discard 2. Hold up some other stuff. Don't need to make any tokens of anything here, I think. Looks good to me. They're not winning this counter war. Ooh, Fanatical Offering, nice. We don't need the other airship at this point. Should be pretty set up to close out this game. The Merata list plan, kind of working out pretty nicely. Do we even bother with the Gear Hulk here? I don't think so. I think I'm going to go with the Relic. And then sacrifice the Relic rather than the Mephitic Draught to the Fanatical Offering to save a life in case they manage to resolve an enduring Monument to Endurance. We have all the interaction in the world now. Should be pretty set here. Airship's online. It's finally working. Finally working. It just took four whole matches for us to get here. Going to fire off a kill spell. Gonna take this chance to counter this. Gonna spell pierce this one. The reason I'm doing this, I think, is because I want these to be able to like crew themselves on their turn in case they have some like crazy hasty something from downtown later. Maybe it just doesn't matter though. If they're investing all of these cards here, I just let this all happen now. Oh, they're getting otters for all this actually. So I actually do have to pay. Because I do need to be able to block on their turn. Okay. I'm glad I'm actually glad I countered all this because I kind of forgot they had this Storm Chaser's talent leveled up all the way. I need to be able to block on their turn. And if I let them kill one on my turn, they all go back to being just vehicles. But if they kill it on their turn, I can crew and leave 4 to block. Whew. Whew. Feels good to get a match win. Feels good to get a match win. The faded 1 and 4. Yeah. Happens sometimes. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you watching. If you're interested in what I might do with the Jeskai list, keep an eye out. First off, we have to figure out like we have to figure out the top end. I feel like that's just the main thing keeping this from being particularly powerful. I think the airship is quite good, but maybe it demands too much like synergy to be a reasonable payoff. There's really not anything good, which is kind of crazy. There aren't like big banger top end 6 mana plus artifacts. Boommobile. Enters, add 4 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to activate abilities. Deals X damage to any target. First recording's kind of interesting. Play those cards this turn. Oh, Pyromancer's Goggles. Now there's a card I love. But doesn't really make a whole lot of sense with Merata. Summoner's Grimoire. If the card is an enchantment card, that sounds a little too messy. I kind of feel like being in red also gives you the 2 mana like artifact Drake, which I think is pretty interesting. Tapping and flashing in Debris Beetle is kind of interesting. You play just like a bug shell. Interceptor Mechan is actually kind of interesting too. This is a card that I find quite fascinating. And I can imagine a scenario where you have like, basically, if you have an Interceptor Mechan and you like have another one in your graveyard, you can just return them infinitely back and forth. And they get bigger, they close out the game. And then you could play like Winter Night Stories to sort of further enable that plan, help you filter out your like additional Maratas. There's something to that maybe. So one more thing on the to-do list, try a list that's Grixis, and try a list that is Jeskai, of course. Although why Jeskai? Like what is white still giving us? Maybe Jeskai's not the answer. Maybe we're like a Colstoke, Gearhulk, Interceptor Mechan, Winter Night Stories deck. Torch. You get the Mephitic Draughts. Okay, gang. I kind of like the idea of this. This also gets your artifacts back from your graveyard. You can play 4 Colstoke Gearhulks, 4 Interceptor Mechans, Merata. Torch. I guess white gives us like no more lies, but we can access counter magic in different ways. Like there's just blue counter spells, you know. Draughts, the relics. Kind of feel like this is a really good Winter Night Stories deck. And then can we access more payoff for this sort of like idea of artifacts in our graveyard? The value is here. You know, Colstoke, Gearhulk, Interceptor Mechan enters, grab another Mechan. Is there another? We could play like Melded Moxite, another artifact that helps us draw and have our like strong Marauder opener. I wonder if this is just enough. Is that crazy? Oh, this is showing 24 lands again. We really have shown that you don't need 24 lands. 20 lands is quite enough with this style. Maybe you play like maybe you can just play main deck Spell Pierce. Is that crazy? 3 steps ahead looked pretty good a lot of the time. I kind of wish there was like a counterspell that bargained for some guaranteed like counter effect. It could be okay. Diversion unit, kind of interesting. Quench, join the dark side. Spectral interference counters artifacts and creatures. Maybe main deck Spell Pierce is just enough. Like, we're pretty good against the creatures otherwise. Just play 4 main deck Spell Pierce just to be good against the Izzet decks game 1. Is that crazy? I don't know. What do you think, gang? And then I feel like there's a good 4 mana or 3 mana like artifact creature that we could find. Just to smooth out this curve here. Ooh. There's really not in blue. You could just play the Simulacrum Synthesizers. But I think another target for the Coldstoke Gearhulk makes sense. Maybe I'm too deep in the tank on this one. Maybe I'm just too deep in the tank. Kylox's Volt Strider. Collect evidence, okay. Cast instant or sorcery spell from among them without paying the mana cost. Interesting. Oh, Pinnacle Emissary. Yes. Warps in, helps us helps us harmonize our Winter Night Stories. Endless value, basically here, right? Winter Night Stories, Pinnacle Emissary. Play some more dinky artifacts. Kind of interesting, gang. Kind of interesting. 4 Spell Pierce. Maybe we go down to like 3 Spell Pierce, 3 Torch, and play some 3 steps ahead. Kind of feel like that looked pretty good. I'm gonna do some testing with this. I think I'm onto something here. What are the obvious strengths comparatively? I think our top end is a little more explosive, but we can also grind. We don't need a whole lot going on to activate our synergies. We just have to put things in our graveyard. We're not that built around our graveyard though. So like if people bring in Rest in Peace, it's like, well, we still get to play the game, you know? And our cards just like resolve and do stuff. That's kind of the big difference between playing this and the Phoenix Fleet airship. We don't have to build around it so much. I guess we could also fit the other Gearhulk back in the deck, kind of do an homage to Oops All Gearhulks. There's also the Gear Drake, which is pretty interesting. I like the Moxite. Helps you discard your Maratas. Yeah, there's something here. Maybe you go like 2 Spell Pierce main, 2 side, 2 3 steps ahead main, 2 side, probably just 2. I like the torches. Maybe you get to run an Oil Deep or 2, just as like a nice lifelink effect. Go down to 2 Coldstoke. 4 Winter Night Stories makes sense to me. Let's play 4 Torch. It's good against like good game. It's like good most game 1s unless they're on control. And we can just discard them away. I'm kind of into this, gang. I'm not sure when I'll play it. I'm going to do some testing offline. But in a future video, I'm going to run something like this. If it's any kind of good. If it's absolute dog water, maybe I won't. But keep an eye out. Let me know what you'd like to see. You can see I have quite a variety Constantly just brewing stuff up. Maybe next video I'll kind of run a classic green shell list, but there's a lot to think about, huh? Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Yeah, I guess if you like what I'm doing here, hit me with a subscribe if you'd like to see more daily standard content, or don't. Appreciate you. Bye bye.